Did you know that 70% of recent retirees say their retirement is going as planned, and a good number of them even say it's better than they expected? And that's encouraging. But let me ask you something. What if you could do it 5 years earlier than you planned? And imagine being able to walk away from the grind not at 65, but at 60 or at 55. The truth is, retiring early is not just some fantasy, and it's completely possible if you put the right pieces in place. So, let me show you 5 powerful strategies that can help you retire 5 years sooner than you thought. Now, I want you to ask yourself the following questions. First off, where are you going to live in retirement? This is a big one because location matters a lot. And living in a high tax state like California and New York is going to eat into your retirement savings a lot faster than living in a place like Tennessee or Nevada, which has no state income tax. And it's not just about taxes. Think about the cost of groceries, gas, and utilities. It all adds up. If you live in a big city, your daily expenses are going to be a lot higher than if you live in a small town. And if you're planning on moving somewhere warmer, that might mean lowering heating bills but higher cooling costs. And these are not small details. They're the building blocks of your retirement budget. And how about your home? This is probably one of the biggest questions you need to answer. Will you have your home paid off if you own one and by the time you retire? Because if you do, your monthly expenses will be dramatically lower and your fire number, that magical number you need to reach to be financially independent, is directly tied to what your housing expenses will be. And think about it this way. If you have a $2,000 mortgage payment every month, that's $24,000 a year you need to cover just for housing. But if the mortgage is gone and the only things you have to pay are your property insurance and taxes, then you can save more money in your investment accounts by not having to pay for the mortgage P&Is. And it's a game changer, plain and simple. And do you have a plan to pay off your mortgage before your retirement so that you can retire sooner? And when you're not working, what are you doing with your time? And are you waking up at the crack of dawn to go for a run? And are you volunteering at a local charity? Or are you maybe even working part-time to stay active and, earn a little extra cash? My mom is collecting Social Security, but she still works at a library to stay active. And that's what she likes to do at her age. A lot of people think retirement means doing nothing, but that gets old fast. And it's about being active and engaged. And whether you are working for fun or just to keep busy, that little bit of extra income can take the pressure off your portfolio and allowing it to grow even more. It's a win-win situation. And some people work part-time to get the health insurance benefits, which could save you a lot more money by having it with your employer instead of taking it out of your account. And how about hobbies and social activities? What will you be getting into? Will you be golfing every day, maybe sailing or traveling? The cost of your hobbies can be a significant part of your retirement budget. Golf club memberships, for example, can be pricey. And same with boating or expensive travel. And let's not forget about your social life. Are you a big entertainer? Do you love hosting parties or going out to dinner with friends? And personally, I want to go to as many baseball games, football games, and hockey games as possible when I'm retired. And all of these things have a price tag. You don't have to give them up, but you do need to budget for them. You need to be honest with yourself about what you want to do and what it's going to cost. And how often will you travel and where will you go? Are you planning a big international trip every single year or a few smaller trips to see the kids and grandkids? And speaking of which, do you plan to visit your children, grandchildren, or other family members on a regular basis? If you have families spread out across the country, that could mean a few flights a year. You need to factor in not just the flights and hotels, but the cost of meals, activities, and souvenirs. It will add up faster than you think. Now, let's talk about something a little more personal, gift giving. And do you want to continue giving gifts to your family? Maybe you want to help your kids or grandkids boost your retirement savings. Or maybe you have a charity that's close to your heart that you want to continue supporting. When you're figuring out your retirement budget, you also need to ask yourself how much you want to donate to charity. And this is not just a feel good question, it has a real impact on your financial plan. But don't get me wrong, it does feel really good to donate to charities. And you have worked hard your whole life to build up your wealth, and you've probably got causes that are near and dear to your heart, whether it's your church, a local food bank, or a national organization. That money needs to be accounted for. It's a choice you make about what kind of legacy you want to leave. And I'm just going to throw this out there. from a tax perspective, it can be a savvy move too, especially if you're over 70 and a half. You can make what's called a qualified charitable distribution or QCD directly from your IRA and accounts towards your required minimum distribution without being counted as taxable income. So you get to help a cause you care about and potentially lower your tax bill at the same time. Not a bad deal at all, right? Now, this is probably one of the least exciting parts of the conversation, but it's also one of the most important ones. What type of health insurance will you get before Medicare kicks in at age 65? This is a huge expense for a lot of people who retire early, and the cost of health insurance can fluctuate, so you need to be prepared for that. And what about long-term care insurance? It's not a fun topic to think about, but the truth is, long-term care costs can be astronomical, and having a plan for this can protect your savings from being wiped out by a medical crisis. You don't want to work your whole life to build a nest egg just to have it vanish in a few months because you did not plan ahead for a health issue. I know this is a lot to think about, but it's all part of the process. And this is exactly the kind of stuff I go over with my clients. And in fact, if you're serious about this, I highly recommend you schedule a consultation with me at firesightchat.com/consultation and consider joining the private client program. And we can go through all of this and create a personalized plan just for you. So now that you've finished answering all of your questions, let's get into the nitty gritty of the numbers. To figure out how much you need to save and invest, you first need to figure out how many income sources you will have in retirement. We're talking pensions, social security pension, rental income from real estate, and any other income streams you might have. And once you have a handle on that, you can figure out how much you need from your investments. So let's do a quick example. Let's say you need $75,000 a year to retire early. That's your target. Now, let's say you've got a pension that's going to pay you $30,000 a year. You're not starting from scratch. That means you only need your investments to generate $45,000 a year. And this is where the math comes in. And we use what's called a 4% withdrawal rule. And the idea is that you can safely withdraw 4% of your savings each year, but especially in the first year of your retirement to ensure your money lasts throughout your retirement. What you don't want to risk is going through a stock market crash in the first year of your retirement and end up facing a sequence of return risk where you lose too much in investments at the beginning of your retirement due to a 10% loss, 15% loss, or a 20% loss. So to find your number, you just multiply your annual expenses by 25. And in this case, because you're getting that pension income, $45,000 times 25 equals $1.125 million. And that's the amount you need in your investment accounts to retire and pay $75,000 a year in annual expenses with your $30,000 in pension income. Okay, so before you hit age 55, your main accounts for early retirement are going to be a taxable brokerage account and your Roth IRA contributions or anything that is not going to be tied up until 55 or 59 and a half. And think of your taxable brokerage account as your most flexible bucket of money. You can pull from it anytime without penalty, which is exactly what you need when you're retiring before you're eligible to tap into your other retirement accounts. And I mean, you've got to live on something, right? And at the same time, you'll want to be maxing out your Roth IRA. And the money you put into a Roth IRA is after tax, which means that you can take out the Roth IRA contributions at any time, tax-free and penalty-free. You just cannot touch the Roth IRA earnings until you're at least 59 and a half. But once you leave your job at age 55 or later, you can start taking withdrawals from your traditional 401k without that pesky 10% early withdrawal penalty. Not your Roth 401k or Roth IRA, but your traditional 401k with your employer. And this is also known as the rule of 55, and it's a huge deal. Normally, you would have to wait until you're 59 and a half to touch that money without penalty. But with this rule, that money becomes an option for you 4.5 years earlier. And it's a key piece of the puzzle for bridging that gap between your early retirement date and your official retirement age. So you could retire earlier between the ages of 55 and 59 and a half with your traditional 401k if your plan has the rule of 55, and that could be 7 years earlier than your Social Security retirement age. Now, once you hit age 59 and a half, the rules change again, and it's for the better. And at this point, your Roth IRA and Roth 401k accounts are fully unlocked. You can withdraw all of your contributions and earnings completely tax-free and penalty-free. And this is what you have been working for, the payoff for all these years of saving. And the beauty of the Roth is that your money has been growing for years, and now you get to use it all without giving the IRS a single dime. And when you turn 62, a new door opens, which is your Social Security. And this is the earliest you can start claiming your Social Security benefits. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly when to claim it because that's a whole different conversation. And honestly, it's a topic that deserves a video of its own. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't done it already. But you need to know that it is an option. Some people choose to take it early to supplement their income, while others wait to let their benefits grow. Regardless of what you decide, it's a new income source that you need to factor into your plan. And finally, at age 65, you get to cross off a big one from your list of expenses, and that's going to be your health insurance. At this age, you become eligible for Medicare. For a lot of early retirees, bridging a gap between their early retirement date and age 65 is one of the most stressful parts of the process. And having Medicare to fall back on provides a sense of security and a significant reduction in your healthcare costs. Now, if you want to do this right, you've got to pressure test your plan because a lot of things can throw it off, like when you stop contributing to retirement accounts, a market downturn, the age you claim Social Security, or unexpected healthcare costs. So if you're thinking about retiring before 60, remember the IRS generally won't let you touch your retirement accounts without penalties until 59 and a half. There are exceptions like Rule 72T withdrawals, but those come with strict rules. So you want a tax pro guiding you on that. And once you have mapped out your ideal retirement, comparing your income with your spending and see how long your money actually lasts and run it as if you're retiring 5 years early, then again, at the desired retirement age and check the difference. If the math doesn't work, you will need to adjust. You can always talk to an investment professional who can help you model different scenarios so you know where you stand. And maybe retiring at age 55 is not going to give you sufficient income, but waiting until age 58 might give you a higher balance in your retirement investments like your 401k and Roth IRA. And if you want to retire 5 years earlier, and one of the most powerful levers you can pull is cutting back on your spending. And the truth is, discipline with money starts long before retirement. And I get it. During inflationary times, it feels tougher, but it is still doable. When it comes to retirement, it's not about your feelings, it's about your numbers. The key is having a clear, detailed budget. Go through your recent credit card and bank statements and be honest with yourself about what's essential and what is not. Eating out, subscriptions, streaming services, those add up fast. From there, you can look at the bigger wins and lowering home energy costs, taking more affordable vacations, or shopping around for cheaper insurance, or even downsizing. You can sell your second car to get cash up front and you eliminate the ongoing cost of gas, insurance, and repairs. And every dollar you free up today can go straight into buying back years of freedom later. And let's be honest, most of us have leaks in our budget, and things like extra subscriptions and takeout food that became routine or gadgets we barely use. None of these seems like a big deal on its own, but together they can quietly drain thousands of dollars every single year. And you can also cut back on these non-essentials because this is one of the fastest ways to free up cash for retirement savings. And the truth is, without a budget, you are just guessing at your retirement number. A detailed budget shows you exactly what you're spending now and what you can trim and what you will realistically need later. And once you know your true expenses, you can build a retirement plan that actually works instead of relying on rough estimates. And I'm going to say this again, your retirement number is not based on your feelings, but it's based on the math. Plain and simple. Now, if you're truly trying to retire early, your savings rate is more important than what the stock market does in any given year. And to help you with that, I've put together a financial independence checklist. So first, you need to max out your HSA. For 2025, that's $4,300 for individuals and $8,550 for families. If you're over the age of 55, that's an additional $1,000. It's a triple tax advantage account. You contribute with pre-tax dollars, it grows tax-free, and you can withdraw it tax-free for qualified medical expenses. And after 65, you can withdraw for any purpose, and it's taxed just like a regular IRA. Next, max out your Roth IRA. For 2025, the limit is $7,000 or $8,000 if you're 50 or older. And here's a cool trick. Your non-working spouse can also max out their Roth IRA without earned income. as long as you have enough earned income to cover both contributions and you guys are filing your taxes jointly. And max out your 401k. The limit for 2025 is $23,500, and if you're 50 or older, you can contribute an extra $7,500 for a total of $31,000. And this is probably going to be the most important thing you can do if your employer offers a match. And while you're at it, find out if your employer offers what's called a mega backdoor Roth. And if you don't know what that is, you need to watch my other video on this topic. And it's a fantastic way to supercharge your retirement savings. Now, stepping back, you can see these 5 tips are not flashy at all. They're not some hidden loophole or secret strategy. They're just the fundamentals done with intention and consistency. And get control of your spending. Max out your retirement accounts. Build a bridge account. Pay off the big debts. Have a real plan for healthcare. You do these 5 things and retiring 5 years early is not some dream. It's just math and discipline. And this has been another beast of a video, and I hope you got a lot out of it.